So, what's her message?
Well, I think her message is not an accurate one. The message is that Hillary Clinton is the most electable Democrat. I would just refer you to a recent Quinnipiac poll, which had us beating Donald Trump by almost twice the margin that she was beating Trump. And other polls have shown similar type findings. That's number one. Number two, Democrats win elections when voter turnout is high. Republicans win when voter turnout is low. I think any objective person would assess that the new energy in this campaign from young people, from working class people, is with our campaign, not Secretary Clinton's campaign.
So what do you think when you hear her say that she's been fighting for progressive causes for all of these years, when we've seen her flip-flop on Keystone, we've seen her flip-flop on same-sex marriage, we've seen her flip-flop on financial reform, we've seen her flip-flop on trade, we've seen her flip-flop, and this is just in the past year or two. No, and by the way, I'm not being ugly. I'm just telling the truth. What are your thoughts when she's putting herself out as a long-standing progressive champion?
Except when she defines herself, as she did a few months ago, as a moderate. You can't be a moderate, you can't be a progressive, you can't be for the TPP and against the TPP, for the Keystone Pipeline, against the Keystone Pipeline. You know, I have been fairly consistent my entire political life. Some people say I'm kind of boring because I've been saying the same thing for 30 years.
Not at all.
Okay. All right, but I think the evidence is pretty clear on issue after issue, whether it's taking on Wall Street, whether it's fighting for health care for all people, whether it is trade policy, whether it is environmental policy. I have been a leader. I think what we have seen over the years, as you've indicated, in many ways, Secretary Clinton has been flip-flopping.
Okay. I also think that when she says, I'm a progressive that likes to get things done, she's actually minimizing the message, saying, well, we can only do this much, and Bernie says we can do that much. What people don't understand is that's what he's always done. He's laid out a vision that was a lot more progressive and a lot more bold than people thought could be accomplished, and then he's accomplished it. As mayor, as congressman, as senator, he did the only major bill last year in the veterans bill. And the other thing that people don't understand is he's always played the inside-outside game, so that instead of just working inside the system and talking to the people in power, he brings the other people in, like the Social Security changed CPI. Remember when they were going to cut the cost of living increases? He fought inside, but then he rallied all the people and all the organizations outside, and they beat them. They beat it back 1 year. The second year they brought it back. It barely was talked about, and then it was let go. The third year, it's nowhere. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
So you just sit back and relax.
Really?
Sit back and just chill out.
Let's bring in right now, with all due respect, Mark Halpern. Mark has a question. Mark.
Senator, I talked to a lot of your supporters yesterday at the event you did in Town Hall, and many of them expressed frustration that you weren't getting covered enough, that you were having trouble getting your message out. I'm wondering if in the few days now between Iowa and then New Hampshire, if you've got plans to try to ramp up your capacity to reach voters so they can learn about you and your ideas and your background.
Well, in the next month, Mark, obviously we're going to be focusing a lot on Iowa and New Hampshire. We have in Iowa, if my memory is correct, actually held meetings where over 30,000 people have come out. A lot of large turnouts. In New Hampshire, I think we're at about 25,000. What I have always done in my life is do grassroots politics. And I think at the end of the day, just going out, answering questions, talking to people is the way you can win in states like Iowa and New Hampshire. And that's where we're going to be focusing in the next month or so.